This segment of DelmarvaLife is sponsored by Salisbury University.
Breaking down barriers and building a culture of inclusion. That's what Salisbury University is accomplishing through its Disability Resource Center, or DRC. The center not only supports students with accommodations, but is leading a university-wide movement toward accessibility, equity, and empowerment.
And this spring, they're honoring those who are making that mission a reality. With us this afternoon to talk about these champions of change and the DRC's ongoing work, this is Candace Henry. She's the director of Salisbury University's Disability Resource Center. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Good to see you. Let's start with the Access Awards. What are they and why are they so important to Salisbury University?
So, I would say right after the pandemic, 2021, we decided, and I say we as in the team, DRC, we decided that we wanted to begin to give students with disabilities that were registered with our office an opportunity to talk about the champions that they had around campus outside of the DRC. So we wanted them to be able to recognize and honor faculty members who've gone above and beyond, as well as fellow students, graduate and undergraduate, and staff. And so we wanted them to really explore what they were receiving and how that experience is different and why those people were going above and beyond what they were doing.
Yeah.
And so the best way to do that was we wanted to give it a large platform and an acknowledgement, and we developed the Access Awards to be able to do that.
So talk a little bit about what earns somebody, I guess what kind of efforts or actions earn somebody an award?
Absolutely. So when it comes to student advocacy, it's being that voice, right, for students with disabilities. So whether it be someone who actually has a disability themselves, or whether it be a general advocate or an activist that's a champion for disability awareness and outreach. And so that person might be making sure that their campus events are accessible, including accessibility checklists, making sure that there are interpreters available or there's a process to request reasonable accommodations for students that want to participate. So it's really that they are making a conscious and intentional effort to include individuals with disabilities in their clubs, organizations, as well as speak about the inclusion of disability on larger platforms.
Now, when we think about accessibility, we tend to think of physical accessibility. Can I get my wheelchair up over that curb, up the ramp? But there's more to it than that.
Absolutely. So accessibility is visible and invisible. So anything from digital accessibility to belonging in space. So being accessible in the classroom means that you are again, being intentional about who is there. You are including disability reasonable accommodation statements. You are making efforts to make your class universally designed so that students can articulate their understanding of content in a multitude of ways. So it's not just the physical space, being able to enter the physical space, but being welcomed because a person has been intentional about the invisible space. And a person feels like they belong in that space when faculty and staff have done that work.
So what does accessibility look like in practice across different areas of campus life?
Right. So I would say in the classroom, again, it looks like those intentional things like, you know, if you have a presentation that you're asking the class to give, maybe you're giving students the opportunity to stand in front of the class to give that presentation. Maybe you're also offering students the opportunity to video record themselves giving that presentation. And that might help a student who has processing disability or a student that might have generalized anxiety disorder. So a variety of things. Most of the accommodations that we provide to students are not accommodations that are fit specifically to one disability. We really look at the challenges that individuals have. We work with students on an individual basis. So we're really supporting their individualized needs. So we're looking at what challenges they articulate, and from there, that's how we're determining what accommodations might be appropriate. So that's one way. When it comes to housing and residence life, that might be an accessible room that has a roll-in shower, or it might be a single room for a student that has medical conditions that they have to maintain in the living space, or again, anxiety, social anxiety, things like that might warrant that. As well as our commons dining hall. It might be that a student has a gluten allergy or a fish allergy, and so they're providing reasonable accommodations. So we're really working with the campus community.
We are out of time. We are out of time, but I've got to say, The university has even received state level recognition.
Yes. Yes, we're so proud of that.
That's
from
incredible.
2 governors.
Wow.
That's wonderful.
That is great.
Very deserving. Thank you so much, Candace, for coming in
Absolutely. Thank you
and
for
talking
having us.
about this wonderful initiative.